Welcome into Mock Trial Masterclass, your guide to controlling the courtroom. I'm Luke, and I want you to be a mock trial master. Let's talk about how you can make that happen. Back by popular demand, we are going to be taking a look at another opening statement in this mock trial film sessions. You guys love talking about opening statements, and I absolutely get it, because I do too. I think it's probably my favorite part of mock trial. I think it's the most fun part of mock trial to do and to prepare for. So we're going to take a look at an opening statement here from the 2017 College National Championship. This is an opening that one of my students sent me. She said she watched it a few weeks ago trying to get better and learn on her own about opening statements. And she said she just hadn't been able to stop thinking about it since then. So I thought it'd be great for us to react and respond to today. Full disclosure, I have never seen this before. A lot of these film session videos I have seen before and vetted and watched through and kind of written out my thoughts. This is going to be a completely organic reaction. So hope you guys enjoy. Let's hop in. For a little bit of context, this is a copyright infringement case. The plaintiff is saying that the defendant stole some of her ideas and made this creative writing thing with it. I don't know all the exact details, but that I think gives you all you need to know for this opening.
When Miss Grandi just came up here, she told you to follow the script. What she meant by the script was actually two different plays. The debate by Trifecta Entertainment and the argument by Alex Taylor. Today you're going to hear those plays. They had some similarities. In both plays, the first act centered around a disagreement between two people. At intermission, the audience got a chance to vote to decide who won. And then the second act diverged along different storylines based on how that vote went.
All right off the bat, what I liked is that the first thing he did was he flipped the other team's theme. Typically, I save or would coach to save a theme flip for closing. But if you're a defense opener and you can do it that quickly and that well, absolutely take the other side's theme, flip it on its head, and get it to where it supports you. A responsive defense opening statement is really, really good stuff.
Ms. Grandi says that the plaintiff is here because it had to have been copied. Members of the jury, we agree. It's strange that two different plays have the same type of conflict with the same intermission vote with the same diverging storylines. That could not have been a coincidence. One of these people stole this play. But it wasn't the defendant. Because members of the jury, you can't steal your own idea. Now, to understand this,
So good. First of all, that is a brilliant theme. You have to have a theme. If you didn't already know that, I've got a video on my channel. I'll leave a link in the description for how to come up with a good theme. It's basically a slogan that helps the jury remember your case, that gets to the heart of your case. That's the important part. This absolutely does that. Brilliant theme. I love it. You can't steal your own idea. And I love sort of setting up. We agree. But the person who stole, someone had to have stolen it. The person who stole is not the person sitting at our table. It's the person sitting at their table, because you can't steal your own idea. This content is so rich. It's absolutely brilliant.
Case, we've got to go back to late 2012. It starts with a woman named Matt Garcia. She's the chief creative officer of Trifecta Entertainment, and she's here with us in court today. It's her job to come up with new ideas for studio productions. She thinks about how to make new plays, and in late 2012, a year before she ever met the plaintiff, Alex Taylor, Miss Garcia had a new idea for a play where the audience would get a chance to participate. She thought about how it would work, how it would influence the story, how the outcome of the play would change based on that new audience participation vote. And she wrote all those ideas down, and she put them in what's called her Great Ideas folder. It's just a manila folder, and it says Great Ideas in big capital letters on the front. It's where she keeps all of her ongoing work. And today we're going to show you that folder. You're going to see it, and you're going to learn about all the work that was inside. Today you'll hear that the plaintiff had access to Matt Garcia's folder on two separate occasions. That the plaintiff stole Matt Garcia's great ideas. Now, the first time was on April 14, 2013. You're going to learn that the plaintiff was left alone in Matt Garcia's office, with Matt Garcia's folder just an arm's length away. Great ideas in big capital letters on the front, and all of Matt Garcia's outlined work inside.
What's so good about this content is it's starting to tell us the story of their case from their perspective, which is super important. But it was really set up by having such a great theme and such a great introduction. Because with a mock trial speech, whether you're talking about an opening statement or a closing argument, you have to have something, some kind of attention getter that's going to get the jury engaged. And I think in this case, their theme and the setup of it was so good that that was the attention getter. Because I tend to have focus problems. I'm not very good at focusing for a long period of time on a speech like this. But I have been so engaged watching this because I've been so curious to know, wait a second, how did we end up in a courtroom in their eyes with a defendant who is actually the victim? That's very interesting to me, and I'm curious how that is what actually happened. And now I'm on the edge of my seat listening for all of these facts. So I just wanted to point out how everything that you've seen over the last minute or so was set up by the first 30, 45 seconds, minute of this opening.
That was the first time that Alex Taylor had access to Matt Garcia's ID. The second time was a month and a half later, on May 31st. This time we're at a barber shop. We're across the street from Trifecta. And Matt Garcia, she comes in, gets her hair cut, and she accidentally leaves behind her great ideas folder. The barber, who's going to testify later in the trial, will tell you how he found the folder and he gave it to the next Trifecta employee who came in.
Okay, what I love about that is he referred to him as the barber as opposed to by a proper name. I think that's really, really effective in opening statements because when you're referring to these characters by their individual names, it's easy to get overwhelmed very quickly. These jury members have not studied this case to the degree that you have, if at all. And when they start hearing Bruce Sanchez and Emily Thomas and all these different names, you get lost really, really quickly. Whereas if you just hear the barber, you know, she went into the barber shop and you're going to hear from the barber later today. I can remember that. I can remember who a barber is. I might not remember who such and such name barber is. So I love that. I write about it in my book. I think that's very, very effective.
Alex Taylor, the plaintiff. But Alex Taylor didn't give that folder back to Mac on May 31st, or the next day, or the next day. Today you'll learn that Alex Taylor kept that folder for 3 full days before giving it back to Matt Garcia. And on the exact same day, you'll hear that Alex Taylor filed for copyright with a final, fully revised version of her play. A play which now had a vote, an alternate second act, and diverging storylines based on how that vote went. But now we're here in court with the plaintiff suing Trifecta Entertainment for copyright infringement. She wants you to believe that Jesse Parks or Matt Garcia or someone at Trifecta Entertainment stole her idea. But members of the jury, you can't steal your own idea.
What's so good about that is when you have a theme, you can't just say it at the beginning of your direct. The good thing about that is when you have a theme, you can't just say it at the beginning of your opening. You have to weave it throughout the opening. You don't want it to become obnoxious or repetitive, but you see, he's talking about this idea that you can't steal from yourself, and so he brings the theme back up. You can't steal your own idea. Very, very effective.
And this was Matt Garcia's idea. The plaintiff in today's case has the burden of proof, meaning it's their job to show you that their side is more likely than ours. The problem is, members of the jury, that the law says that if at the end of this trial you believe that the plaintiff was the one who stole this idea, that Trifecta was the one who came up with it first, and that is the reason why these two plays are so similar, then the defense is not liable for copyright infringement.
Really good explanation of the law. People tend to get into the weeds with this stuff. They start talking about preponderance of the evidence. In other words, more likely than not, the scales of justice, blah, 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 this statute, this number, all that stuff is nonsense. I mean, yeah, you need to know that stuff as you're forming your argument, you're forming your case, but it's going to go straight over the jury's head in real life. And I know in mock trial, you're dealing with lawyers as your jurors a lot of time, but still break it down really, really simply, exactly like he did.
And today, multiple witnesses will tell you that Matt Garcia had this idea long before ever meeting Alex Taylor. That's why my co-counsel, Ms. Bays, will come before you at the end of the trial and ask you to find in favor of the defense. Because members of the jury, you can't steal your own idea. Thank you.
Stuff like this is what I live for as a mock trial coach. Just absolutely brilliant. 10 out of 10 performance. I mean, I couldn't even think of anything to say bad about that. It's just so perfect. The movement around the courtroom, the presentation style as attorney, the content itself and the way it built upon itself and kept you engaged throughout the whole thing. Just an absolute masterclass in giving an opening statement right here. I can't say enough good things about it. Now, the thing about opening statements in mock trial is they are very formulaic. Scorers and judges are listening for specific things that they want to hear from you when you give your opening. How do you crack that code? Well, one way you can do it is you can pick up a copy of my book, Mock Trial Masterclass, where I lay out exactly what scorers and judges are listening for and want to hear from your opening statement. It might take you a while to get as good as the attorney we just watched, but this book is going to set you ahead of the competition and help you form a really, really great opening statement, very similar to the style of the one we just looked at. And if you want to pick up a copy of the book, you can click the link in the description on YouTube or in the show notes on podcast platforms. But just copy what this guy did. So good.